Okay, so on Tuesday, question 1 says if you have, oops, thank you. If you have 20 square pieces of wood, describe all the different ways you could make a rectangle by placing them side by side. Okay, so this is just listing the factors of 20, right? So I could have 1 by 20. That doesn't show up very well. I could have 2 by 10, right? 3 doesn't go in there. I could have 4 by 5. So those are the factors of 20. And those would be your dimensions of your rectangle, right? Okay, the second one says you drove your car for 4.5 hours at an average speed of 70 miles per hour. How far did you go? Right? So in 1 hour you would have went 70, right? 2 hours would have been 140. So how are we going to find out how far we went in 4.5? We're multiplying, right? So 70 times 4.5. So 0 as a placeholder, 35. Not a placeholder, it was 5 times 0. Now 0 as a placeholder. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 7 is 28. Add them up. We need 1 decimal, right? So that's going to be 315 miles for number 2. The next box, this went with Mondays, right? So it says to figure out the pattern, fill in the blank. So we have 48 and 8, and below that we have 4, 12, 4, 2, and below that we have 6, 2, 2, 1. So what are we doing to get the number above? Abby? Right, we multiplied these to get the number above, right? So we'd have to multiply 48 times 8 to know what goes in that box. So 48 times 8 is 64. Carry your 6. 8 times 4 is 32. Plus 6 gives us 38. So in this box, you should have written 384, right? Okay, now we have the table shows the bank account balance for 2 days. How much did the bank account change over the 2 days? So on Monday there was $21 and on Tuesday there was a negative 55, right? So we have to take a negative 55 minus 21. So we're going to add the opposite. So we got to add those together and you get a negative 76. So it changed a negative $76. It went down. If you had a positive balance and now you have a negative 55, someone took out $76 or a bill was paid with it. Okay, now we're simplifying fractions. We have a negative 2/3 and we're dividing by 3 3/4. First thing we need to do is make them improper. So negative 2/3 divided by 3 times 4 is 12 plus your 3 is 15/4, right? Then we need to multiply by the reciprocal times 4/15. Okay? So negative 2 times 4 is a negative 8. And 3 times 15 is 45. So that is a negative 8/45. We're simplifying again, so we should probably make that a decimal so we can add it. 6/5 is the same thing as 1 1/5. Do you guys know what a fifth is as a decimal?
20.
Yep, so if I divide that out, long division, right? 5 goes into 10 2 times. So that's 1 and 2/10, right? 1 1/5 is the same thing as 1 2/10. Even if you took this times 2, you would see it's 1 2/10. This is 2/10, right? Same thing. Then we can add to it our 10 and 35/100. So you might want to line up your decimals. 5, 5, 1, 1. So 11 and 55/100. The last one says to place the following fractions on the number line. So your number line counts by halves, right? So you start with a negative 2, and then you have 1.5, negative 1.5, negative 1. I'm just going to mark these. negative 1/2, 0, half, 1 whole, 1 1/2, and 2. Okay? So the negative 2/3 is your A, right? So negative 2/3 is going to be more than half, right? So it's going to be about here. That's where negative 2/3 is. For B, you have 20 11ths. And if we did it as a fraction, it would be 1 whole, right? And then you would have 9 11ths left, which is close to 2. So B would be about here, right? This was B. C is a negative 5/3. Do I have those right? Oh no, C is 3/10. Sorry. It's backwards on mine. 3/10, excuse me. So 3/10 is less than a half, right? But it's more than a fourth, so it's going to be less. It's going to be about right here. 3/10. And then the last one, D is at 5/3, which is 1 whole and 2/3. Okay? And that one's negative. Sorry, I forgot it. So that's going to be over here. It's going to be more than a half, so D is going to go here. Any questions on that one?